What's up? Welcome in to Chicago Bears Now. I am Harrison Graham. We are live here on a Thursday, and Packers Hate Week continues. Lots to dive into when it comes to that here on today's show. But shout out your city. Let us know where you guys are watching from. And I don't know who Aaron Thompson is, but saying bring in Matt Nagy as OC, that's a good joke, but hell to the no. Humper B in Chicago. We've got Jeremiah in Coppers Cove, Texas. It's not too far from us. Kyle Smith in Salt Lake City. Aaron in Dallas, Texas. What's up, Aaron? He's Club Dub in Millbank. We got Busy in Waterbury, Connecticut. Wasim Khan in Irvine, California. Let us know where you guys are tuning in from here so we can get you some shout-outs. We got Brewer fan in Chicago. Ken up in Winnipeg. What can you tell us about Chris Strevler, Ken? The Bears worked him out today. He played for Winnipeg a few years ago. Ryder in Phoenix. Darren in Toronto. JBL in California. We got Tanaya in Moline. Where else you guys tuning in from? Bakersfield. Shout out your city in the chat. Fernie gets a super chat in here. If you super chat, guaranteed to get on the show. Like the video. If you hate LaShawn McCoy, bear down. LaShawn McCoy was a great player. He sucks on TV. He has the hottest takes with no merit that you will ever listen to. So, yeah, hit the like button. Also hit the like button if you hate the Packers. And you guys know the motto. Type FGB, FGB, FGB. FGB. If you notice a different voice behind the producer setup, that's because Nick Roloff, a.k.a. Rolly, has the day off. Let's bring in Jake Chipper, a.k.a. Chip, to Bears Now.
What up, what up?
I think, Chip, I can't remember when I feel like you, executive produced some big show for us. Like, they've seen you before, but it's been a long time since Chip's been on the show. Get Chip going in the chat. Let's get it popping. He's ready to go here on Chicago Bears Now. And Rolly's just nowhere to be found. I mean, hopefully we'll see him Sunday. I'm kidding. He'll be back Sunday. He's got other stuff going on. But Chip's ready to rock and roll. Look at him rocking his Sixers hat. I will say this. I'm not a Sixers guy. It's a sick hat, though.
Thank you.
Got the tan look with the logo. It's just clean. Nice and crispy.
I've gotten some hate saying that they don't like in the office the red and blue with the brown, but
I think it's a good look.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. It's all that matters.
It's a good look. It's a good look. So
Chip
shout
clears
out to
Rolly.
Chip clears Rolly after today. Didn't take long, did it? All it took is Chip chanting FGB with me, and they got you. Spam. So spam FGB in the chat. Welcome Chip to the channel. He's hanging out today, so appreciate him doing his thing. We got some shout-outs here. We got Tanaya, Zoronic, DJ Moore saying FGB. Let's go, DJ. Big game coming up on Sunday. We got Pokey Mike. We got Tommy saying Chip. Jorge says FGB. Ron Winarski. Robert. We've got Richard. Brewer says welcome, Chip. Donald saying FGB. DJ Moore saying I got snubbed, Harrison. You did get snubbed from the Pro Bowl. 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns, DJ. Prove them all wrong on Sunday. Let's go. Let's go beat Green Bay. All right, Daily Basis with a $5 super chat. Appreciate that, Daily Basis. He says, I will only accept drafting a quarterback in the first round if we reset the coaching staff. Please don't keep making the same mistake. Still think Marvin Harrison is the answer. Yeah, if I'm keeping the same coaching staff, I'm not drafting a quarterback. I'm with you because what you. Oh! Michael Horowitz! Boom! A $200 super chat. He says anyone asking for Harbaugh doesn't understand continuing the Ferris wheel of coaches does not equal success. I agree to an extent, but Harbaugh would be my one exception, Michael. But agree to disagree. $200 from Michael. I don't have the helmet in here, Michael, but you get 2 more stickers in the Bears Now Helmet Hall of Fame. You are an absolute real one, and listen, it's Sealand's been the GOAT here for a while, and he probably still has GOAT status, but Michael Horowitz, I would say he's been the GOAT of the last couple of months. I mean, he has been an absolute legend here at Chicago Bears Now. So get the booms going for Michael Horowitz, and I do want to finish daily basis real quick. I agree. If you keep the coaches, keep the quarterback. If you change coaches, okay, that's fine. But what you don't want is to keep this staff, draft a quarterback, and then fire the staff next year if they underachieve, and then that quarterback's stuck with the new staff. So I completely agree. Shout out to Michael Horowitz, and he's been balling out. There's no doubt about it. All right, a couple of sponsors we want to show some love to here on today's live stream. First, we'll tell you guys a little bit about Game Time. Last-minute tickets looking to go up to Lambeau Field. You're not going to find a better deal than you are with Game Time, the best ticketing service on the internet. Download the Game Time app today at the App Store. Search Game Time. Use promo code BearsChat to get $20 off. They're going to show you different vantage points. They're going to show you the best deals they have available when you log into the app. Also, if you want to attend a Bulls game, got some cheap opportunities coming up. How about Hornets Bulls on a Friday night? $10 to get in. That is a hell of a deal. Get started today with Game Time. Use promo code BearsChat. That's going to get you $20 off when you sign up. Search Game Time in your app store. You will find it today. Last-minute tickets for the best price guaranteed with Game Time. We are also sponsored by Prize Picks, the best daily fantasy sports app that is out there. And the reason it's the best is, well, number one, it's got every sport. It's got some esports. You can play all kinds of games with Prize Picks. And number two, it's daily fantasy made easy. All you do is pick 2 to 6 players on any given entry and project if they will go for more or less on their stat projections. I've got Justin Fields and DJ Moore. In the Moore category, more receiving yards for DJ, more rushing yards for Fields. I think he's going to leave it all on the line in this game in Green Bay. And Jordan Love's been pretty good recently, but the Bears' defense has been cooking as well. Give me the less on that number. So this is 10 to win 50. You can win up to 25 times your money with 6-player entries. This is just a 3-player one. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get a deposit match up to $100 when you create an account today. How about Michael Horowitz? I mean, the guy is just unbelievable, Chip. He says, I'll continue to be the GOAT. Listen how many times we do the switch out coaches that don't pan out for us. The list is endless. I get it, but I do think Harbaugh's resume and his proven track record is different, but I get it. You don't want to be changing coaches every 2 or 3 years, so I understand that thinking as well, especially since the Bears are playing better. A first-time super chat from Matty Boy. Got to do 5 jumping jacks. 3, 4, 5. And I'll tell you what, Chip, we may have to do a beer bong race or something for Michael Horowitz.
Oh,
I mean,
I'm in.
He's been balling out. I'll tell you what, $50 super chats. We're doing a beer bong race, so we already owe 1. So we'll do the first segment coming up here in a few minutes, but we will do that for every $50 super chat. Matty says, run it back with Flus and Fields. Go grab the best offensive coordinator you can find. This team should win at least 10 next year. I mean, I agree they should win at least 10 games next year. And if you think that's crazy, they should have 10 wins right now. They've lost 3 games where they led by 10 or more points in the fourth quarter and had a 91% chance or better at one point of winning those games. Like, there's no reason. Even if you just win 2 of those 3, you're 9 7 heading into Week 18, virtually in the playoffs. So I'm with you. I think with slightly better coaching, this team would have been a playoff team. But even if you just run it back and continue to add pieces, which you have the assets to do so in free agency and in the draft, you should be in the postseason next year. Now, predict the score of Bears versus Packers. And my goodness, Michael Horowitz, he's not even letting us get a segment in. So Chip's going to have to go get a couple of Happy Dads. He's going to have to go get a couple of Merbongas. So, Chip, let me flash this super chat, put the predict the score back on the screen, then you can go grab all the ammunition we need because it might be quite a bit. He says, beer bong now. So, all right, Michael, we're going to get some score prediction shout-outs in. Bears, Packers, drop your scores, and Chip's going to go get the necessary tools, if you will, to go get this done. I didn't really have this on the menu today, but hey, when Michael Horowitz shows up, you got to deliver. So that's how it goes. Just any Happy Dad is fine. You could just bring in one of the boxes and we'll just take them back with whatever's left. Then just grab a couple Merbongos. All right, some shout-outs here. Ryan says Bears 27-17. Noodle says Bears 31-24. Lane says Bears 28-24. Lacora 28-23 Bears. Ricky says 24-21 Bears. 35-10 Bears. That would be glorious, Ron. I mean, could you imagine just running them out of their own building when they have to, especially if they have to win to make the playoffs, which they mostly do. There's a scenario where they get in if they lose, but it's very unlikely. A Real Shike says 28-17 Bears. Time in the Buckeyes says 31-24 Packers. Papa Smurf 34-24 Bears. Angel Carter 37-27 Bears. Someone says 27-37 Broncos. I don't know where Broncos come into the equation. 28-21 Bears. I said 24-23 Bears. I think it's going to be tight. I said earlier this year I would not pick the Bears against the Packers again, but here I am falling for it again. We'll see if I'm proven right. Yes, Dalvin Cook has signed with the Ravens. For those wondering, Dalvin Cook has signed with the Ravens. Ah, yes, Chip has the ammunition. What a guy. What a scholar. All right, here we go. You want to go full screen here, and we'll knock out a couple of these real quick. Oh man. Michael Horowitz, he's, the guy is just built different, Chip. The guy is built different. Sometimes you got to salute a man when he shows up. So we'll do 2 beer bongs here because that's what we owe, and then we'll dive into our first segment here coming up. So let's get it. Shout out to Mike. Type boom in the chat for Michael Horowitz. Chip off the old block. Listen, Chip can drink with the best of them. I will say that. Rolly can too. These young bucks, I'll tell you what, it's tough for me to keep up with them.
We'll see.
I mean, we'll see. We're battling here. So the way we do this, Chip, is number one, you guys predict a winner. H for Harrison, C for Chip. I'll count us down 3, 2, 1, and on go you can go. So, look at this guy. I mean, he's unbelievable. Michael Horowitz. Oh, Brian, we got a lot of work to do, Chip. We better knock this one out first. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, I got Chip. Old man Harry steps up. I got Chip. You guys let us know. I think I won that. You let me know. H for Harrison, C for Chip. Who got that one done? And by the way, we now owe 2 more. This is just a disaster. Thirsty Thursday, folks. Oh, man. They're saying me, Chip. They're saying me.
By your beard hair.
Hey, listen, the beard, it shaves off at least 1/4 of a second. That's just the facts of life. All you need is Kerry. Kerry Huss, he's been balling recently too. Kerry Huss is awesome, by the way. I've gotten to know him a little bit, chatting with him, back and forth messaging on IG and whatnot. So shout out to Kerry Huss. All right, we'll see if Chip can even up the series. We owe 2 more, so here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. I actually don't know that time.
Wow.
I actually don't know that time.
Oh, my God.
Do we have an official ruling?
Tie?
Tie? All right, well, we got a third one coming up here. And then even if another 50 comes in, we got to space these out.
Oh, man.
We got to space these
right.
out. I think tie, because I was looking at the screen, too. It came down at about the same time. So we'll go tie there. Jay says, get him drunk. If you guys want to get Chip drunk. Hey, Chip's girlfriend flew into town tonight. So she has no idea that Chip could be getting a little sloppy when he gets off work. So
She's not ready.
Oh, she ain't ready. She's got a lot of catching up to do.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. He got me that time. Bad start that time for me. I knew I was beaten. All right, so 1-1-1.
Yeah.
So next 50 would break the tie. It's 1-1-1. All right. Let's go ahead and go to like the video, Chip, and then we'll dive into this first segment. Hit that like button. Michael, we'll do it after this segment, bro. Or actually, let's flash the super chats. We'll flash the super chats. I mean, Michael Horowitz. Brian getting in there too. This is unbelievable. So Michael, first of all, flexing. He's saying my bank account is built different. I don't doubt it, Michael. You're something else, man, and your support has been incredible. And everyone in the chat just being here, that's incredible support. We know not everybody can donate, and it's not expected, but when people can and they do, it certainly does help. People like you, Michael, are why we're able to hire people like Chip and continue to grow this company. So shout out to you, Michael Horowitz. And how about Brian? We got to get him a boom. Boom! He says, honestly, Bears, let this season slip away, but let's not focus on the past. Crush Green Bay's playoff dreams and then trade the number 1 pick for a draft haul, 28-21 Bears. Here's what's so funny, Brian. If they go out and beat Green Bay, don't get me wrong, it's going to be incredible to knock them out, and it's going to be awesome. And yes, this team is heading in the right direction, and they're built. Their Super Bowl window is starting to open. It really is. But to your point, like, who would want to play this team in the playoffs in the NFC? Like, other than San Francisco, the Bears would have a puncher's chance against just about anybody, and I would actually like their chances against numerous teams. I really would. I mean, Chip, he does a lot of work for our Eagles channel. I don't think they feel confident about playing anybody right now.
No,
I think the Bears
team.
could go into Philly and compete.
I would be scared.
Game.
I would be scared.
We saw last year the Bears gave the Eagles a great fight in that game, and
that game was close.
They were not very good last year, so it is a shame, Brian. But to your point, let's knock out Green Bay, then kick off 2024. Oh my goodness, this is incredible. This is incredible. Aaron Wolf with the 5. Give Justin Fields weapons. Run everybody back next year. Add some top draft picks. Let's ride the polls. Ryan Poles. I'm down, Aaron. Let's get it. Michael says one more. Well, now it's 2 more because Randy Franks just sent one in. Michael, we'll get to another one. We'll get to another one, Michael. And Randy Franks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we owe 2 more beer bong races. We got to space these out a little. Our stomachs they're built different, but they're not built that different. We are human after all. Here comes Max Reynolds. I mean, 2 first-time Super Chat. Chip, we're at $615 and we're 20 minutes. Oh! What on earth is happening? Let me read Max Reynolds here. Holy smokes. Keep offensive coordinator and head coach, offer Justin Fields 6-year $150, so $25 a year over 6 years. I mean, if he would take that, I'd actually probably do it because that's a cheap QB or starter money, $25 a year. Isn't really crazy. If Justin declines, grab a QB and reset all. It's an interesting idea, Max. So let me do these real quick. 3, 4, 5. I mean, Chip shows up, we're at $715. I mean, Brian, this one coming in from Brian. Boom! More drinks for everyone, 2 more for me. Dude, what on earth? Kamani Jackson. Trace, come back in here. We're going to need some help. I mean, I don't know if you and I could do this all on our own.
I mean, what do we owe, like 5 more now?
Well, so Brian, instead of a sticker, he wants 2 more, so that's 4. Kamani's 5.
Yeah.
We owe 5 more beer bong races, so we might have to just get like a 5-way race going or something.
That would be intense.
Fun. Kamani said, or with the super sticker, 50. Shout out Kamani. And then John sends another first-time super chat. 2, 3, 4. I'll tell you what, doing jumping jacks after you just drink that much liquid.
Not good.
Not easy. Not fun. Good. If we keep Fields, if we lose, don't keep him because FGB. Man, putting it all on the line on this game, huh, John? You wonder how much this game matters in the evaluation. It's something. It is something. Well, usually this doesn't happen on these midweek streams, but if we get to 1,000, that's a beer boot. That's 3-1, and then I'm really in trouble. So we'll see if Bears now keeps balling out like this. This is unbelievable. But all I can say is thank you guys. The support's awesome, and if you love the Bears, if you want to beat the Packers, hit that like button. We're going to dive into our first segment here in just a second. And, wow. Xavier Soup saying it's Packers week. Maybe that's it. We're all juiced up. So who the hell knows what's going to happen moving forward. I just realized, Chip, I didn't even, in the coming up graphic, put a 4th thing in there. Oh, wow. This is fine. I'll just verbalize it. All right, hit that like button. Here we go. We're going to dive into today's show. Here's what's coming up live on Chicago Bears Now. The latest Bears news and rumors coming out of Hallis Hall. Hashtag Bears or Super Chat to get your questions in. Use the hashtag Bears or Super Chat function. Also, I still wonder, should the Bears still pursue Jim Harbaugh? I give 3 reasons why they should. And we also have a bonus segment. Draft targets based on Mel Kiper's recent NFL draft big board. Wanted to kind of dive into that and talk about some names that I think are worth discussing. So all that and more is coming up here on Chicago Bears Now. Get your questions in, hashtag Bears or Super Chat to get your questions in on the show. All right, let's get into our first segment here on the channel. It is the latest Bears news and rumors. If you want the Chicago Bears to beat the Green Bay Packers, I hope you do. FGB in the comments. Hit that like button. Like this video. I better see 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 likes on today's show. If you don't want to beat the Packers, I question your fandom. Hit that like button right now. All right. Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network went on TV today and basically described the Justin Fields and Bears QB decision that is upcoming as a difficult one, to use a specific word that he did. And he's not the first one who said this. Courtney Cronin and Jeremy Fowler of ESPN talked about this. Now Rappaport is reporting in. The point being is I do think there are debates likely happening within Hallis Hall on what to do at that quarterback position. Here's what Rap Sheet had to say. Quote, he has made this an unbelievably difficult decision. What this is about is, do you want Justin Fields, and then you rebuild your roster with other players, plus give him an extension either this offseason or next offseason? We'll talk about that part in a second. Or do you move him, get the draft capital that comes with that, and basically restart with an unknown rookie quarterback with the cheap salary that comes with that? Let me just first say this. One thing that continues to bug me with the Fields discussion is this idea that you have to commit to a long-term extension this offseason or even next offseason. You don't have to do that. You've got 2 years of team contractual control, and especially this offseason. I like Justin Fields a lot. I'd be more than happy if they kept him. I even am probably leaning toward that way, although I have not made a final decision. I would not sign him to an extension this offseason unless it was very team-friendly. because you have him for $6.01 million next year, and in 2025, it's $21.9 million, which is not a lot of money for a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL. That, of course, is if they pick up the fifth-year option, which they would have to make that decision this offseason, which, to be clear, if they keep him, I think they should do that. We'll dive into that in just a second as well. But I keep hearing, well, if you keep him, you have to do the contract. You don't, though. I know normally quarterbacks after year 3 or 4 get that extension. Doesn't mean you have to do that. What's he going to do? Not show up for year 4? I think he's going to show up and play ball. So I think especially for this offseason, you don't have to factor in a potential extension if you don't want to. And I think that would be the way I would go. I would not give him an extension this offseason, even if I'm in the camp of keeping him, because just pick up the fifth-year option. You're good to go. Would you exercise Justin Fields' fifth-year option if he isn't traded? Type Y for yes. Type in for no. Get your votes in down in the comments section. If the Bears do not trade Justin Fields, I do think they should pick up that fifth-year option. Even if next year went poorly, like $21 million against your books the year after, yeah, it's not like nothing, but it's not going to just bury you as a team. Like it's not it's not Daniel Jones, right, where the Giants are stuck with him on their books next year no matter what they do at quarterback, right? $21 million is not that big of a deal, and that's what the Giants should have done. They should have exercised his fifth-year option so they didn't feel forced to extend or sign him to that big contract last year. The Bears can go the other way. They could say, hey, we're not ready to commit to you long term, but we'll pick up your fifth year. That locks you in for $21 million the year after, which is still life-changing money for Justin Fields. And then it gives the Bears more time to make that long-term decision, see how it goes next year with better pieces on this football team. More for me and Rappaport. He says, I would describe it, the QB decision the Bears have to make, as to be determined. A lot of this is how do the Bears evaluate these rookie quarterbacks to be, and are they going to be better than Fields? Which, that's a great point, right? Like, when you look at this, if you're Ryan Poles in this front office, like Caleb Williams, Drake Maye, Jayden Daniels, Michael Penix, J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, whoever, do you have a strong feeling that one of these guys is going to be a clear upgrade? Maybe not in year 1, but by year 2 or year 3. And that's really what this comes down to. Two-part question. Does Ryan Poles think Justin Fields can be the quarterback for this team to win a Super Bowl, especially if the roster continues to improve? If he answers that question out loud to himself as no, that's a problem. So if not, does he think any of these rookies to be can? And if the answer to that part is yes, then yes. If your two answers to that are no on Fields, yes on one of these rookies, then you should draft a quarterback. If it's a combination of no, or yes, yes, then you potentially go the other way because you continue to build this roster, even if you're not convinced on Fields. But if you're not convinced on one of these rookies, then the safe route is just keep building, trade the first pick for a haul, and continue to build, because I think at minimum you're a playoff team with Justin Fields next year, because, hell, they should have been this year if they didn't blow those fourth quarter leads. Today's show sponsored by Prize Picks. Shout out to Prize Picks, daily fantasy made easy. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Create an account today and use the promo code CLNS to get a $100 deposit bonus. You want to spice things up even more for Bears-Packers this week? Well, go ahead and track me on this 3-player entry I got. I think Justin Fields is going to leave it all on the line in this Packers game. There's a lot at stake for him in his career. Give me the more on his rushing yards. I think he rushes for 60+. DJ Moore, he's been so good with Justin this year. I think he hits 66+ receiving yards. And Jordan Love's been kind of either red hot or ice cold. Bears defense is playing well. Give me the less on his passing yards. It's going to be cold as well. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Code CLNS to get a deposit match up to $100 when you sign up today. That link is in the comments and in the description. Get started with Prize Picks right now. Luke Getsy, is this his final game on this Bears coaching staff as offensive coordinator? Well, we'll have to wait and see on that one. He was asked today, kind of like looking to the future, what he thinks that looks like for him, because obviously, at least from the fan base standpoint, he's been put on the hot seat. He kind of declined to talk about that. He said, hey, we're focused on Green Bay. We're trying to win this game. And look, that's classic coach speak. I wouldn't expect him to say anything else. He did open up about Justin Fields, though, and here's what he had to say. He says, we have a great relationship. We work really well together. He inspires me daily with his mentality, his focus, his faith, all that stuff. We have a really good relationship, and I think Justin's future is super bright. That last part, I think his future is super bright. I don't want to read too much into it, but I almost wonder if he's like saying that in a standpoint of like, regardless of where he goes or where I go, like I think he's going to be a good player in the future. It didn't really sound like hey, us together, we can continue to build this thing in a good direction. Now, maybe I'm reading too much into that. I don't know, but I do think that Sunday's important for Luke Getsy. I think a strong offensive output, not only for Justin in his career, potentially with the Bears, but for Getsy to put another strong game together after a good game against Atlanta, which I thought was one of Getsy's better games with the Bears, could really have a strong impact because there's an argument to be made that if you keep Justin Fields, then keeping Luke Getsy, albeit with his faults, does make some sense so he doesn't have to learn a new offense in year 4. That would be his third offense in 4 years. So I understand that side of it. But again, if he lays an egg and he makes some brutal play calls and key decisions, which has been a problem at times for him, then you almost have no choice but to make a change. So Sunday I do think is very, very important for Luke. What would you do with Luke Getsy? Would you fire him or would you keep him? Type F for fire or K for keep. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Speaking of this matchup, Luke Getsy going up against his former employer, Bears, Packers at Lambeau Field. Packers a narrow 3-point favorite, over-under in this one, 44.5. So Vegas basically saying a 24-21 game in the Packers' favor, which, hey, if you're the Bears, get it close in the fourth quarter on the road, have a chance to win, you would certainly sign up for that. Now, you look at the injury report for the Bears at Thursday's practice. Tyson Bagent did not practice. He's dealing with an illness. We talked earlier that they worked out a quarterback. We'll tell you who here in just a second. Darnell Mooney still in the concussion protocol. And this is kind of a side story, but I wonder if we've seen the end of Mooney in Chicago. Didn't play last week with the concussion. Not trending toward playing this week with the concussion. That would be a shame if he didn't get to play in this final Bears-Packers game, regardless of his future, but doesn't look like he's going to clear. Marcedes Lewis, his rest day has been Thursday all year, so he didn't practice, but he'll be good to go. Jaylon Johnson with the shoulder, he's said multiple times this week he's going to play. They're just resting him up. And then Patrick Scales, the long snapper. The Bears worked out another long snapper today. He's been dealing with that foot injury. It's very possible he's not able to play, so they may have to go with a different long snapper. I mentioned on our video earlier today, the Bears did work out free agent quarterback Chris Streveler, spent some time in the CFL. He's bounced around the NFL. That is just because obviously Tyson Bagent is ill, so you only have 2 quarterbacks right now, Justin Fields and Nathan Peterman. So having a third quarterback in the room during a game week is certainly very, very valuable. We'll see if they actually sign him, but they did work him out. Guys who were limited on Thursday, Khalil Herbert with the back injury. That's news, so keep an eye on that. He was not on the injury report yesterday, so that's certainly notable. Cole Kmet with the knee. He was limited. He did not practice yesterday, so he's trending up. DJ Moore still limited with an ankle, but fully expect him to play as well. And listen, I know the Bears can't make the playoffs, but I'm not sure the last time I've been this fired up about a watch party. Bears, Packers, Sunday. Get the FGBs going in the comment section right now. FGB, 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 and join our watch party. Bears, Packers will be live this Sunday at probably about 2:15 Central Time, so subscribe, turn on your notifications. We'll get you ready for kickoff, and we'll stay live and react to this entire ball game as the Bears look to spoil the Packers' chances. All right, let's get some FGB shout-outs and got to catch up on some supers. We're almost at $800. This is unbelievable. Joshua, Albert, Lucian, Juke. We got Busy 2.0. Grego, Jake, Jeffrey, Roland, Juke, Lucian again. We got Agent Ethan, Bear Down, D, Harley, Lenny, balling out with the FGBs. Freddie, Ray, Guad. Appreciate you guys. We got Apollo, James, Kevin, David, Lenny, get those FGBs in. Paul Brusco, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He says, do you think trading down once, drafting Marvin Harrison or Malik Neighbors, trading down again from the Bears picks, acquire a second, and then draft the QB would be Justin Field? Would Justin be okay? I've mentioned before, I do think the scenario of taking a QB in like the second round could make some sense. We saw Philadelphia do it with Carson Wentz. They drafted Jalen Hurts. Now, Wentz didn't handle it well, but it was still a positive outcome because Jalen Hurts became their franchise quarterback. So you could definitely go that route. I don't think Michael Penix falls to the second round, but if he did, I'd be intrigued with him. Is a J.J. McCarthy in round 2 worthwhile? Maybe. Bo Nix, maybe. So you could definitely try that if you wanted to. Nicholas Guzman with the 10, he says, can you imagine how hilariously soul-crushing it would be if Poles trades down, gets a haul, doesn't take a QB first round at all, then boom, second round trades Justin Fields and snags a quarterback? It would be fascinating. We'll be live during the draft. That would be wild to react to. But I guess my question would be: is any quarterback you take in the second round, unless Penix drops, like ready to step in day one and start? I'm not sure. Like Jayden McCarthy's pretty young, and I've got questions about him. So I don't know. It would be interesting. Sal Eats with the $5 super. He says, if the Bears beat the Browns this game on Sunday, first of all, it's the Packers, is a Sunday night game because I would be win and in. Right. What am I looking at here? I'm confused, Sal. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, Sal, but the Bears cannot get into the playoffs, if that's what you're wondering. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you're trying to ask here, Sal. I don't know if you typed a team wrong or something, but yeah. Appreciate the super, though. Apollo with the 5. He says, I'm on the keep Justin Fields bus, but any notable free agents to target this offseason? I did put out a free agent targets list about a month and a half ago. You can check that out. Probably next week or the week after, once kind of the end of the season stuff dies down, we'll take a look at some free agents again, Apollo. So subscribe to the channel and be looking for that. We'll definitely talk more free agency stuff. I know it's been more draft heavy recently because they got the number 1 pick, but the Bears do have a lot of cap space as well and are poised to make some moves in free agency. So yeah, I would definitely say keep an eye on that. All right, hashtag Bears or Super Chat. Get your questions on the show. What Chip and I will do, we'll do our mailbag here. We'll do a couple of the beer bong races after the mailbag. We'll do a couple more segments, and then we'll wrap up the show with anything else we owe. So hashtag Bears or Super Chat. We'll get into the mailbag in just a second, and then we'll knock out a couple of beer bong races. So by the way, we just crossed $800. David, we'll get to your Super Chat early on here, so stay tuned. We'll get that in there. We're less than $200 away from a beer boot, so that'd be fun here on a Thursday. Hashtag Bears Super Chat. Get your questions in. Once Chip's ready, we'll dive into this first segment, and we'll get it going. I agree with you, Sealand. He says, I'm sorry, Fields hasn't earned a long-term contract, point blank. Has he earned fifth-year option? Yes. That's where I'm at. Like, you don't need to give him a long-term contract. If you decide to keep him, just pick up the option. It gives you 2 years of control. You don't need to do anything rash. And that's one thing I'll say about Ryan Poles. He's not a rash decision maker. I mean, he considers every scenario and will make what he thinks is the best decision. Okay. Seeing DC with the question. David, we'll get those in there. Get as many of them as we can. Super Chat or hashtag Bears, and we will dive. What's that? Okay. Cool. All right, we're about to dive into this mailbag video, so get those questions in. Let me get some of this water after slamming those Happy Dads. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Unbelievable. We got to get to this now. The mailbag waits because Brian, boom! What are the odds we extend Jaylon Johnson? He has earned it, and this defense is gelled. Why mess with a good thing? I think there's a good chance, Brian. At minimum, he'll get franchise tagged, so don't worry about Jaylon Johnson not being here. He will be franchise tagged. I guess the one crazy scenario is they could tag and trade him, but the worst scenario is they would trade him for a really good pick. So I'm hoping they just get a deal done and keep him here. He wants to be here. So I'm not that concerned about the Jaylon Johnson situation. So shout out to Brian. That gets us less than $100 away from the century mark. $1,000. Round of applause to everybody who's balling out today. And, the booms coming in. Travis, Kevin, Charles, get the booms in the chat. Big Chief says, unsubscribing. Harrison and his channel is brain dead. What am I brain dead about? What am I brain dead about, Big Chief? But it is a free country. You can do what you want. So, to an extent, of course, there are laws. Hashtag Bears or Super Chat. Here we go. Let's get into this mailbag video. We're going to answer as many of your questions as we possibly can. Appreciate the real ones. Michael saying bye. Hopefully not to me. Hopefully to Big Chief. But we'll go ahead and dive in here. Here we go. Mailbag time coming up right now. It is a Bears Now mailbag. I am Harrison Graham. Let's kick things off with Miles here. He says, can the Packers game determine the fate of Matt Eberflus, Justin Fields, and or Luke Getsy? It's an interesting question, Miles. I mean, it's like a micro-macro thing. Like, you would think big picture, like, one game isn't going to, like, outweigh everything else, right? Like, one awesome or awful game from Justin Fields isn't going to outweigh 30 games of, tape watching and evaluation. But I do think this could be a game that carries more weight than others, right? Like, I do think Sunday matters, and here's why. If the Bears do beat the Packers on Sunday, they can take this resume to the front office. We beat the Lions, the Vikings, and the Packers all in the final 7 weeks of the season. Should have beat Detroit another time. Could have beat Minnesota earlier in the year as well. So in 5 of your 6 divisional games, you could make the strong argument you outplayed the opponent. For sure in 4 of the 6, potentially 5 of the 6. The first Minnesota game is kind of 50-50. So if you win Sunday, that's a pretty strong thing to push in terms of the, hey, you should keep us and run it back if you're Getsy, Fields, and Flus. If you go out there, lay an egg, that's not a great look because you would have gotten swept by Green Bay. So Sunday's big. There's no doubt about it. Is it everything? No. Is it a bigger data point than other games? I would say so. You have a chance to knock a team out of the playoffs in a high-leverage game. I definitely think it matters. You guys know the motto. FGB. Doesn't matter what the stakes are. We're typing FGB 24/7, 365. So spam the comment section with FGB. You guys know the motto. Drake, Take Care album. The motto's FGB. Some super chats to get to. Shout out to Daily Basis. Appreciate the 5. He says, I will only accept drafting a quarterback in the first round if we reset the coaching staff. Please don't keep making the same mistake. Still think Marvin Harrison Jr. is the answer. I like Marvin Harrison Jr. a lot. I do think if you keep the same entire coaching staff, I would keep the quarterback as well. If you change coaches, I do think that probably leads to a more likely scenario that you change quarterbacks. So we'll have to wait and see. Matty Boy with the 5. Run it back with Flus and Fields. Go grab the best OC you can find. This team should win at least 10 games next year. They should, Matty Boy. They should have won 10 this year. They're 3 fourth quarter collapses away from being 10-6 right now. If you win 2 of those, you're 9-7. Hell, if you win 1 of those, you're 8-8, and that's still a chance to make the playoffs this week. But you lost all 3 of them, which is unfortunate. But I'm with you. I think even if you just run it back with this same nucleus and add a few pieces, you should be a playoff team in 2024. Brian from earlier. Honestly, Bears let the season slip away. Let's not focus on the past. Crush Green Bay's playoff dreams and then trade the number 1 pick for a draft haul. 28-21 Bears. That's his prediction versus the Packers. We'll see, man. We'll see. If Justin Fields balls out, outplays Jordan Love, knocks him out of the playoffs, that's a good final impression for him to make his argument to stay. We'll see how it all plays out. Aaron Wolf, give Justin Fields weapons. Run everybody back next year. Add some tough draft picks. Let's ride the polls. If you trade the number 1 pick and get 3 firsts out of it, that's and potentially a player, that's going to be hard to not do. I will say that. If you're not doing that and you draft a quarterback, you better be completely convinced that quarterback's going to be incredibly big time. John with the 5, appreciate it. If we keep Fields, if we lose, don't keep him because FGB. Get the FGBs going in the chat for John. Shout out to John. He's putting it all in the game. If they win, keep Fields. If they lose, don't keep him. All in this game. Love it, John. Paul Brusca, do you think trading down once, drafting Marvin Harrison or Malik Neighbors, trading down again, from your Bears' own pick, acquiring a second to drafting a QB. Would Justin Fields be okay? I don't want to speculate on what Justin Fields would or wouldn't like. I mean, I think if they drafted a quarterback fairly high, he would, take that as a message. It's like, oh, okay, that may not be great for my future here, but I do think the scenario of taking a quarterback on day 2 could make some sense. It worked out for Philadelphia, not necessarily for Carson Wentz. He didn't handle it well, but you're kind of hedging a bit, right? Like, hey, we're not going to take a QB number 1. We're going to trade it for more capital, but we are going to bring a talented player in here just in case Justin Fields does not work. All right, Game Time, today's sponsor. If you're looking for last-minute tickets, if you want to make the Sunday trip to Lambeau Field, make that drive up north, then, well, you're not going to find a better ticketing option than you are with Game Time. The best tickets for the best prices available at Game Time. Buying tickets to a sporting event, a concert, or comedy show, it shouldn't be stressful. It shouldn't be frustrating. It should be easy. It should be painless. And with Game Time, it is. You can see the different vantage points when you use the Game Time app. They're going to show you exactly where you're going to be sitting, and that's valuable, especially when you go to a stadium you may not be familiar with. Maybe you've never gone up to Lambeau, and these photos are going to be like, okay, this is exactly what my vantage point is going to be. So that's a pretty good deal. So check that out today. Also, if you're looking to go to a Bulls game, a lot of home games coming up here on the schedule, and get into the arena for pretty cheap at a lot of these. Create an account today. Download the Game Time app at your app store. Search Game Time. There's also a link in the chat you can click, and then use promo code BEARSCHAT when you create that account today. That's going to get you $20 off. Last-minute tickets for the lowest price guarantee with Game Time. It's promo code BEARSCHAT once you create an account with Game Time. So download the app today. Link is in the comments and in the description. Apollo, I'm on the keep Justin Fields bus, but any notable free agents to target this offseason? Go check out our free agent targets video, Apollo, from a month or 2 ago, but we'll definitely do an updated list once the regular season ends, probably sometime next week, if not the week after. Lots of draft and free agency content coming up, so be sure to subscribe. David, if we trade down to 5 through 9, I like Chop Robinson and Malik Neighbors, but what are your thoughts on Xavier Legette, the South Carolina receiver, DK 2.0? Similar build, big, fast, tough. I want to see how he tests at the combine, David. It's going to be interesting, but I do think he's a guy that could rise up boards. He's got some intriguing physical attributes. Got Brian next. What are the odds we extend Jaylon Johnson? He's earned it, and this defense has gelled. Why mess with a good team? A good thing. I think there's a good chance. Worst case, you got the franchise tag, so I think the Bears are in a great chance. Appreciate the donation, Brian. Harry, if we get blown out by the Packers, I'm ready to clean house. Yeah, I mean, look, the general consensus heading into this game is that Matt Eberflus is safe. I do wonder if that could change if you go up there and get drilled by Green Bay, because if you're Ryan Poles, you could look at this in this way of, hey, you started the season not ready to go against Green Bay, you ended the season not ready to go against Green Bay. 2 important games for this team, for this franchise, for this fan base, and you didn't show up. So, yeah, I think a blowout could change things. I think if they go up and compete and lose, I think Flus is probably safe. Maybe Getsy is on the way out. But, yeah, it'll be interesting, Harry. You definitely can't no-show in this game. This is an important game. Jake with the 5, do you think we should draft offensive line instead of edge in the first round or try to get veteran O-line in free agency? Definitely need a center. Yeah, I mean, there's no one in this draft at center you would take in the first round. Like the round 1 offensive linemen or tackles. You got Joe Wall, Olu Fashanu, J.C. Latham out of Alabama. But I also think that Braxton Jones has shown enough that you don't need to take a tackle early. You can roll with him and Darnell Wright. But, yeah, you got to get a center, whether it's in free agency or in the draft. Middle rounds in the draft, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or you could go free agency. Predict the score, Bears versus Packers at Lambeau Field this Sunday. Get those score predictions in, and let us know who's going to win this football game. I'm going Bears 24-23. Got James Graver, hire an offensive coordinator that really wants to work with Justin Fields. Let him be him. DJ Marvin Harrison signed a big-time defensive end. Yeah, I do think, like, if I had to make a free agency prediction right now, if they throw out a big contract, I think it's going to be for a defensive lineman. I think, does Josh Allen of the Jaguars hit free agency? Does Brian Burns? I mean, You look at Daniil Hunter in Minnesota, they can't franchise tag him. So if they can't come to terms, could you go out and get him to pair with Montez Sweat? So a lot of good defensive linemen hitting the open market, and I do think Poles will probably throw some money out there. David, #Bears, appreciate it, brother. What do you think will happen to Fields if Harbaugh becomes the head coach? I don't know. I think if you bring in Harbaugh, you give him a lot of say on who the quarterback is. Like, of course, Poles is going to have say, but that's got to be a collaborative effort if they do go the Harbaugh route. And I think you got to lean on his judgment in that situation, at least to a certain extent. Ron Winarski, if the Bears had Montez Sweat week 1, do you think the Bears would have made the playoffs? It's an intriguing question. I mean, I don't think it would have necessarily made a difference in that Packers game. You got blown out, but Bucs week 2 was winnable. Maybe it makes a difference in that game. Definitely makes a difference in that Denver game. And look, you really just needed to win one more game here to have a chance in week 18. So, I would say very potentially, Ron. We don't know for sure, but it definitely would have been a better chance. They've been a much better team since they made that move. Lacora, #Bears, which team are the Bears most likely to trade the number 1 pick to? I'm looking at whoever gets the number 3 pick if it's Washington or New England. Because if there is a gap among most teams from Caleb Williams and Drake Maye to the 3rd quarterback, well, if you're picking at 3, you got to move up to get Williams or Maye. So I think whoever's picking 3rd, unless it's Arizona, who probably won't draft a quarterback, I think that's probably the most likely team. But maybe it's a team like Vegas picking closer to 10. Maybe it's a team like Atlanta who's going to be picking, 8 to 12. So there's different routes. Obviously, they traded down to 9 last year with Carolina. So Poles is afraid to trade down that far. But I think the idea of trading down a couple of spots, getting Marvin Harrison Jr., that one's pretty intriguing to me. Henry Forte, Harrison, what position or players do you think the Bears draft most likely with the 2nd first-round pick? So let's just say, I'll just throw it out there. Bears get the 10th pick, right? That's where they sit right now with their own pick. They'll be picking anywhere from 8 to 13 with their own selection. That's locked in. And obviously, they have the 1st overall pick with Carolina, but you're talking about the Bears' own pick. I think that's in the range of like one of those secondary receivers maybe. I don't think Neighbors falls that far. Or Dunze. I think one of those is probably gone. Maybe the other one's still sitting there between 8 and 12. Brock Bowers is in that range. I also think that's the range for some of the edge rushers. Leatu Latu. You got Dallas Turner, Jared Verse. I think you're getting into the range of those guys. So I think that's potentially the type of prospect you're looking at. You could also trade up or trade down from that pick if you chose to do so. Tech is my life. Now that the season is practically over, what are your evaluations of Fields? One game isn't going to change much. You said it. My evaluation is that he's gotten better. I think you can win with him. Is he a quarterback I would give a long-term extension to this offseason? No. If I'm keeping him, I'm giving him the 5th-year option. I haven't made my final decision if I'm keeping him or drafting a QB. I'm probably leaning toward keeping him right now because of how much you could get with that 1st pick. Again, you don't have to give him a big deal right now. You've got the 5th-year option. You have 2 years of control with Justin Fields. So I'm leaning toward keeping him. But again, while I did say one game isn't going to change a ton, if he goes out there and either A, lights it up and dominates, or B, lays an egg and loses to the Packers again, especially that one, that could change the thinking of the decision makers and potentially myself as well. Patricia. Those happy dads are kicking in. $5 super chat. Do you think Ron Rivera would come back to be our defensive coordinator? Probably. I don't want him, though. I guess it's fine as long as Flus is calling the plays, which I said that on a video earlier as well. If you keep Matt Eberflus, he has to continue to call the defense. Period. End of story. He seemed open to that when asked about it recently, so I'm not too worried he would go back into CEO mode because his value as this team's head coach improved once he started calling plays because the defense got better. So I think that's got to be set in stone if you're going to go that route. All right, appreciate all the questions. If you have any more, hit me up on social media, Twitter, at HGramNFL. Same handle on Instagram if you want to hit me up over there, at HGramNFL. Appreciate you guys. Bear down. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't really want Rivera. Again, if it's DC and title, sure, but He ain't calling plays.
Rivera. That Commanders defense has been horrific.
Oh, here's 5 for Patricio, by the way. Shout out Patricio. Yeah, the Commanders, it's bad, man. Get those score predictions in. Bears, Packers. And then you want to do 2 races here? All right. Chip's easy going. He's like, yeah, just tell me what to do. Screw it. You could peek in there and see if we want to get a third in here. Chip's going to go browse the office, see if we got any partakers in here. I'll go ahead and pour my first one up. Shout out to Chip, man. By the way, we're $53 away from 1,000 in supers. If we cross that, I got to do a beer boot, which could be difficult. I'll be honest. Could be difficult. Dead in there? All right. It's up to me and Chip. There's no one in there. They're all doing videos. So here, you got that. All right. 31-9 Bears from Lee. Travis's 28-17 Bears. Ogden 34-17 Bears. Green Bay 28-24 from James. Flus has grown this season. He has. And I've given him credit for that. Harrison, there are rumors that Washington might trade Jonathan Allen. Yeah, we might discuss that. There's going to be about 10 million rumors we're going to discuss this offseason. Don't worry. Do not worry. All right, so the series today is 1-1 plus a tie. 1-1-1. So this race would put someone on top, at least for now. I think we owe, 4 or 5? It's going to be tough. 8 for Harrison, C for Chip. Shout out Chip for producing today. We still got a couple of segments to go. We're going to do 2 races right now, then we'll hop into our next segment. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, go!
That was clear. That was obvious.
Yours was obvious last time. That was obvious this time.
All right, that was obvious.
Here we go. We got another one here. 2-1 with a tie now in my favor.
I can't fall behind 3-1.
No. Well, the Cavs did it.
It's possible.
It's been done.
It's been done.
Oh, man. 27-20 Bears from Busy Womack. Bladder Buster Bongs. Yeah. The seal will be broken soon, Jaron. You don't have to worry about that. All right, here we go. Let's see if Chip can tie it up. 3, 2, 1, go! I just didn't have it that time.
All right.
I didn't have it. All right, 2-1. We got a couple more that we owe. We're going to get into our next segment here. Shout out to Chip for bringing the juice. And, man, what a day. What a day. I know I told him. $50 super chat, technically 53, but we'd count 50, would get us to 1,000. That'd be a beer boot for me. And I'll tell you what, if we're still tied and I owe a beer boot, we might have to do a beer boot race as the tiebreaker. Are you a boot guy? Have you done? He does boots. All right. Chip is holding his own. He more than holds his own. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you a quick story. Along with Marsh, you guys know Marsh, F. Marsh in the chat. We were part of the interview process when we interviewed Chip. He is so much more like, oh my goodness, and there it is. Like outgoing, he's a different guy than who we interviewed. In a good way, by the way. Not that the guy we interviewed was not good. It was just like, he was more reserved. I think he was trying to keep it more professional. And now Chip gets into this environment. He's just a wild card. You should have seen this guy at the company party. Guy looked like he was straight out of what's the movie with Tom Cruise. They made the remake a couple of years ago. Gosh, what? It was so popular when it came. Help me out, guys. The Tom Cruise movie they remade like a year or two ago. Top Gun, yes. Felt like you were straight out of a Top Gun movie, and the guy was unbelievable, just like Sealand's unbelievable. Shout out to Sealand. So
Let's go.
That gets us $3 away. We'll do it regardless, but if someone officially wants to get us over 1,000, a $3 super chat would do it. Shout out to Sealand, one of the legends here. So I think what we'll do, maybe as a compromise, I think we do two more beer bong races, and if we're still tied after that, I'm doing a boot regardless. If we're still tied, which based on how today's gone, we probably will be, we'll do a beer boot race to break the tie. That'll be at the very end of the show. Very end of the show. Let's do these two segments first, though, because when we publish these for people not watching live, I don't want them to just be completely incoherent. So we're going to hold off on the drinking until after these two segments, but then we'll let it rip at the end. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. Coming up next, I make the argument for why exploring Jim Harbaugh could still be worthwhile. Stay tuned. Coming up next here on Chicago Bears Now. On today's episode of Chicago Bears Now, I give 3 reasons why the Chicago Bears should still consider hiring Jim Harbaugh. If you're watching live, Sealand, I see your $100 super chat. Boom! We'll get to that in a little bit, but 3 reasons why the Bears should still consider hiring Jim Harbaugh coming up in just a second. But subscribe and join us live on Monday. We go live every Monday anyway, but it is Black Monday in the NFL. I don't think Matt Eberflus is getting fired, but we'll be live. Maybe Luke Getsy gets relieved of his duties. Everything going on with the Bears and the NFL the day after the Packers game. We'll be live to break it all down. So hit that subscribe button. News, rumors, offseason coverage, draft, free agency. It's going to be on fire. We got you covered every step of the way for 100% free. Okay, reason number 1, exploring Jim Harbaugh makes sense. Well, the first one is he's available, which usually coaches with his resume, which we'll get to later on in the show, are not available to hire. Recent reports suggest that Jim Harbaugh, and this has been out there for a couple weeks, has been offered a 10-year, $125 million contract from Michigan with one stipulation: don't engage with NFL teams this offseason. And you wonder, why would he not sign that contract? Well, because you threw that stipulation in there, and he's kind of made it obvious the last couple of years in the offseasons that he's interested in the NFL. Want to add more evidence to that? Well, Jim Harbaugh hired Don Yee as his agent, someone who's very well connected to the NFL. If you're wondering, who the hell is Don Yee? Well, a couple of bullet points for who this guy is. He's Tom Brady's agent, number 1. He's well connected to the NFL. He's represented several figureheads of the National Football League. And Jim Harbaugh, another note too, hasn't had an agent before. So the fact that he's hiring this guy, I think is very notable. I think it definitely means a lot. It tells me that he wants to return to the NFL. And this isn't new, guys. Like, whether you don't have to believe me, you can, you cannot. We reported about a month ago that he would be very interested in the Bears job. I know for a fact that he wanted that Vikings job 2 years ago, and he was surprised he didn't get it when they went with Kevin O'Connell. He would have taken that job if they offered him. And I said this too: if Michigan wins the national championship, he's gone. Like, why would he stay there? He's wanted back in the NFL. He would have accomplished everything he wanted to at Michigan. Win a national championship, take control of the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry, which he has done, win 3 straight Big Ten championships. Like, if he wins the whole thing this year, like, he's brought Michigan all the way back. Like, they could not bitch and complain, that fan base, if he decided to leave. Like, he's left them in great hands. So I do think if they win, he's gone. I think if they lose, he's still probably going back to the NFL. Maybe he goes back to try and win it next year, but if they win on Monday against Washington, you can take it to the bank. He is returning to the NFL unless no team wants him, but pretty sure the Chargers want him. Pretty sure the Raiders are interested. Maybe the Bears change their minds. Who knows? Which is why I'm making the case that they should at least pursue that option. Are you still interested in Jim Harbaugh? Type Y for yes and for no. and this is not to disparage Matt Eberflus. We'll tie him into this as well. He's done a nice job. This team has improved, but you can't tell me you're not interested. Like, you got to be interested, right? Y for yes and for no. Let me know what you guys think. Something I am not only interested in, but have been partaking in for a couple of months now is Prize Picks. Daily fantasy sports made easy with the Prize Picks app. Why is it easy? Well, they give you stat projections, and you just take the more or less in those stats, and you tie those together with other player projections, and you make money if you hit on those. This is my 3-player entry for this weekend's game. And again, you don't have to keep them all within the same game. You can cross over sports, cross over games, no problem, 2 to 6 player entries. I like Justin Fields running the football this Sunday. I think he's going to leave it all on the line, try to win this game against Green Bay. DJ Moore has been a big-time weapon all year. I think that number's too low in his receiving yards. Give me the more there. Then Jordan Love's been good recently, but so is the Bears' defense. So give me the less on his passing yards. This gets you 5 times your entry. So if you put down $10, you win $50. Put down $20, win $100. You can win up to 25 times your money on a 6-player entry. So if you're feeling ballsy, go check that out. And what makes daily fantasy easy with Prize Picks is you can set these entries in less than 1 minute. Create an account today once you download the app by using our link, prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get a deposit match up to $100. It is Prize Picks. Daily fantasy made easy. Link is in the comments and in the description. Number 2 reason why the Bears should at least entertain the idea of hiring Jim Harbaugh is he's a proven winner at this level. There is no other candidate out there, at least up to this point. Maybe, Bill Belichick would fall into this category, although he's fallen off, obviously. But that is a high-level proven winner in the NFL. Look at what he did with San Francisco. Just 4 seasons, not even that long. 2 NFC West Division championships, 3 championship game appearances, made a Super Bowl. Like, other than winning a Super Bowl, this is about as much as you can do in a 4-year sample, right? Like, typically when you get a new job, you don't, it takes a year or 2 to compete. They went to the NFC Championship in year 1. And by the way, I think if he got this Bears job, he would enter a similar situation where it's a team ready to win right now, which that's going to be point number 3, so stay tuned. This is not some, start from scratch rebuild. That's already happened. Now, you're still rebuilding. It's not finished, but this is a playoff team next year with proper coaching. It really is. And that's where I want to bring Matt Eberflus into this is, look, I like Flus. They've overcome adversity. This team has stayed together, but I can't ignore these collapses, man. I can't do it, man. The Denver one is unbelievable. With late in the third quarter, you're up 21 points. You can't close. 12-point lead with 4:15 to go in Detroit. Can't finish. Up 10 in the fourth quarter against Cleveland. Can't finish. To lose all 3 of those, we've seen the odds. 0.003% chance of losing all 3 of those, and they did. They had a 99% chance to beat Denver and Detroit at one point in those games. 91% chance to beat Cleveland. Ask yourself this question. Do the 2023 Chicago Bears make the playoffs if Jim Harbaugh is the head coach? I think they would have. I think this team would be playing in the postseason next week if Harbaugh was the head coach and Matt Eberflus isn't. Again, this team has improved. I think Flus has evolved. I think he's better now at his job than he was even just a month ago, especially 3 months ago. I have given him credit. I will continue to do so. But if Jim Harbaugh was running this team's probably 10-6 right now. That's just the reality of the situation, in my opinion. Maybe you disagree, but if you're Ryan Poles, if you're Kevin Warren, and you ask yourself that question, and the answer is yes, this team would be a playoff team with Harbaugh, then how can you not consider trying to upgrade? That's how I see it. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it would be a bad call, but he's won everywhere he's been. So that's how I feel about it. Reason number 3, and I kind of alluded to this already. I think the Bears are entering a Super Bowl window here. Now, next year is not Super Bowl or bust. Let's make that clear. This team hasn't even made the playoffs yet. But I don't see why this team can't contend at a high level in the NFC. The defense is already fringe top 5. That's not going to change anytime soon. You have more assets to add pieces over there. The offense, which you have assets to add to it, obviously you got to make the quarterback decision, but you're built to compete in the NFC. And by the way, if you can get home field advantage, teams coming to cold Chicago, this team's built to win that way. Run the football, especially if they keep Justin Fields with his running ability. And you look at the offseason assets, what they can add to a team that already should have been a playoff team this year. You've got the number 1 pick next year. You've got another first-round pick. And you currently have $60 to $65 million in cap space based on projected cap for the NFL next year. That can get to 80-plus quickly if you cut Cody Whitehair and Eddie Jackson. I think Whitehair is a pretty much automatic cut. Eddie Jackson, maybe they restructure, maybe they keep him. I would think you would at least want him to take a pay cut. But the point is, you're going to have a lot of money in free agency as well. And we just saw the Cubs do this, guys. David Ross, good manager. I think the Cubs were on the cusp of being a quality playoff team, and that's where the Bears are heading into next year. But they went out and they got Craig Counsell, a more proven manager. Why can't the Bears do the same with Jim Harbaugh? Like, it's one of those things where it's not even anything against Matt Eberflus. It's more about what Jim Harbaugh is capable of, at least in my opinion. Where has he failed? Sure, he has not won a Super Bowl yet. In 4 years, though, he went to 3 NFC Championship games and went to a Super Bowl and almost won it. He lost to his brother. That's the guy he lost to, which, by the way, his brother might win the Super Bowl again this year. So this guy knows how to win. He's at worst going to lose the national championship this game, but he's at least got him there. You're telling me if you knew this guy would get you to a Super Bowl within a couple of years, you wouldn't sign up for it? Come on, man. Like, ask yourself this question. Is Matt Eberflus a Fetty guy? And what that means is, do you see the confetti falling out of the stadium and him hoisting the Lombardi? I see Jim Harbaugh doing that earlier than Matt Eberflus. That's just me. I don't know. It's nothing against Flus. He's done a nice job, and I feel like I've given him credit for that. But if you're asking me to pick a coach right now, it's got to be Jim Harbaugh. I'm typing my JH for Jim Harbaugh right freaking now. Look, I wish Matt Eberflus would stay on and coach the defense. You guys always ask me about that, but he wouldn't do that, unfortunately, so you'd have to go get a different defensive coordinator. But I would trust Jim Harbaugh to lead this team to high levels of success and potentially a Super Bowl championship. All right, hit that subscribe button. That is my kind of just rant on why the Bears should still continue to pursue Jim Harbaugh. Now, I say that knowing if the Bears beat the Packers, you're almost certainly keeping Matt Eberflus, which I get it. I'm not against that idea. The idea of Jim Harbaugh, I think this team could compete at a high level starting next year. Hit that sub button for more Bears videos. Chip, I have not seen a single Matt Eberflus.
Woo, it's a lot of JHs.
Now, the poll says 70% Harbaugh, 30% Eberflus. Maybe I convinced them with that segment, but, and again, like, I was super negative on Flus earlier in the year, but I do think he's grown. I do think he's evolved. Like, the crazy thing is he might actually be becoming a decent head coach. Like, is he a top 32 NFL head coach on this planet? Probably. But, like, are you looking for the 20th best head coach or a top 5, top 10 guy? That's what you got to ask yourself. And quite frankly, that applies to quarterback too. If you think Caleb Williams can be a top 5 quarterback in this league within a couple of years, you should make that move. Now, I'm leaning toward the keep Justin thing because you can get a ton of draft capital and continue to build this team. But part of that reasoning is I don't know if Caleb Williams can get there. That's up to the talent evaluators to come up with that. But if Ryan Poles thinks Caleb Williams is a superstar potential Hall of Famer, then yeah, like, of course you should consider that. You should probably do that if you think that's the case. Like, how big do you want to swing? That's what this comes down to, man. Is Matt Eberflus to me is a single, maybe a double. Like, you're going to compete. The defense is going to be good. But again, when that Fetty falls out of the stadium, is he going to be the one hoisting that Lombardi? I think Jim Harbaugh can. I think he can. Oh, my goodness. Sealand! Boom! Getting us over the century mark. Shout out to Sealand. An absolute legend here at Bears Now. Again, we got one more segment to go, fellas. Chip and I will do 2 more beer bong races. And then if we're still tied, right now it's 2-2-1, we'll do a boot race as well. So stay tuned for that. Lots to get into here on the show, but we want this last segment to be as coherent as possible because you guys can probably tell with the voice. It's getting a little wobbly. Nothing crazy yet, but a couple more beer bongs and a beer boot. I'll be Ubering home tonight. I can tell you that. So Here we go. We got one more segment here. Mel Kiper has updated his NFL draft big board, so we're going to kind of take a look at some different position rankings that he has and some players that I'm interested in for the Chicago Bears. Stay tuned. Lots to dive into, and then we'll get the drinking going. Stay tuned, Sealand. Mel Kiper Jr., the top NFL draft analyst at ESPN, has updated his NFL draft big board for 2024. So on today's episode of Chicago Bears Now, I'm going to look through some of those position rankings for key positions of need for the Bears and kind of just dive into some players that I'm interested in for some potential Bears draft targets. My name is Harrison Graham. Welcome into Bears Now by Chat Sports. This is a fluid list. This isn't necessarily a ranked list, but these are some top needs: wide receiver, center, edge, running back, defensive tackle. You get those safety in there. Obviously, quarterback, depending on what you do with Justin Fields. I didn't bullet point that out here, but that's more of like decision, right? That's the top decision is quarterback. You keep Fields, you don't need to draft quarterback number one. Decide to move on if you want to try to upgrade. Obviously, that becomes your biggest need at that point in time. And before we get to specific positions here, the way I see this, you look at Mel Kiper's top three prospects: Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr., Drake Maye. That's his top three guys. These are the only three players at this point in time, it could change in the pre-draft process, that I would consider taking number one overall. And again, this is only in the scenario in Williams and Maye case if you do trade Justin Fields. I've said I'd be open to drafting Marvin number one. I'd much rather trade down and get him at like 3 and get more draft capital, but there's no other player right now in this draft I would take number one other than those three. Again, that could change. Maybe Jayden Daniels has an incredible pre-draft process and he gets into that conversation, but for now, Williams, Maye, Marvin, those are the only guys I would consider taking at the top of this draft. Speaking of the number one pick, what should the Bears do with it? Should they keep it and draft a player? Type K for keep. If you think they should trade down and get some more draft assets, type T for trade. K for keep, T for trade. Get your votes in down below. All right, let's talk quarterbacks now. You look at Kiper's top 10 QB prospects. Obviously, we mentioned Williams and Maye. He does have Jayden Daniels as his third quarterback. He's got J.J. McCarthy ahead of Michael Penix. I like Penix more. I get why he's got it this way. McCarthy's 20, 21 years old. Penix is 23, so you're banking on upside there, but Penix is pretty damn special with that arm talent. Bo Nix, 6. Spencer Rattler, 7. Michael Pratt, 8. Jordan Travis, Joe Milton, round out the top 10. Obviously, once you get to 7 through 10, you're probably looking at more like third round and beyond, maybe fourth round and beyond guys in this NFL draft. And look, obviously a big quarterback decision is coming. It may not come tomorrow, it may not come next week, but between now and April, Ryan Poles has to decide if Justin Fields is his quarterback next year or not. And obviously it's a tough evaluation. He's definitely improved, but there's still some inconsistency, especially throwing the football, but he can also create some special plays, man. Like, he does stuff not many players can in this league, and I don't just mean quarterbacks. I mean players with what he's able to do. He creates a lot of explosive plays, both as a passer and as a runner. So he's got to make that decision first. If he's drafting a quarterback, obviously he's going to trade Justin Fields. If he wants to keep Fields, maybe he still drafts a QB later, but probably not with that number one overall pick. All right, wide receiver prospects for Kiper. He's got Marvin 1, Rome Odunze 2, which that's pretty. I wouldn't necessarily argue with that after what he did in the college football playoff semifinal game. If he has a strong national title, I think he does probably jump Malik Neighbors, who's number 3 right now. Keon Coleman, Xavier Worthy, and then you got Brian Thomas Jr., another LSU receiver. Adonai Mitchell, another Texas receiver. Mecca Buka, Xavier Legette, who a lot of you guys like, and then Ladd McConkey as well. For me, if you're asking who I like, the top 3, I think there's a clear kind of separation here where Marvin's number 1, there's a slight drop, and then 2 and 3 are neck and neck, and Odunze and Neighbors. And then there's another notable drop, in my opinion. All 3 of these guys, you look at the numbers, you watch the tape, like, they're all special in their own ways. Give me one of these 3 guys. Like, I want the Bears to end up at the end of the draft, regardless of who the quarterback is, with Marvin Harrison Jr., Rome Odunze, or Malik Neighbors. I want one of these guys running routes for the Bears next year because you need a big-time weapon opposite of DJ Moore. Darnell Mooney wasn't up to the task being a number 2 guy. If you want to bring him back as a cheap slot, sure, but he's not a number 2. Chase Claypool certainly wasn't. They had to move on from him quickly this year. Cole Kmet, really good tight end, but you need that number 2 wide receiver right now, and I think all 3 of those guys, Neighbors, Marvin, and obviously Adunze, they can come in and be a number 2 in the NFL right away and potentially be a future number 1 as well. But the beauty is with DJ Moore, you don't need them to be that right away. So get me one of these weapons. I need to beef up your offense, and one of these guys would do just that. Shout out to Game Time for sponsoring today's show. Last-minute tickets for the best price guaranteed with the Game Time app. Buying tickets to a sporting event, a comedy show, a concert. Sometimes it's frustrating. Sometimes it's stressful. Not with Game Time. It's easy. It's painless. You're going to get tickets delivered in a timely manner. You can buy tickets just hours before kickoff for the start of the event that you're looking into. You wake up Sunday morning, decide you want to go up to Lambeau Field, buy a ticket that morning, make the drive. You're going to have that ticket in your digital inbox right away. They make it very easy. They give you the steps of what you have to do to get the ticket once you purchase it. And you know what's cool with Game Time? If you got a Venmo balance, some extra cash in there, you can use Venmo to purchase a ticket as well. So go check that out for this upcoming game. Also, I want to go check out the Bulls in Chicago. A lot of home games coming up here on the slate. You see some of the cheapest tickets available right now. Prices starting at those numbers as well. Use promo code BearsChat when you create your Game Time account today. Search Game Time in the App Store. Type in promo code BearsChat when you download and create your account. That's going to get you $20 off today. There's a link in the comments and in the description, which will redirect you to Game Time in the App Store. Use code BearsChat. That gets you $20 off right now. Appreciate Game Time for sponsoring today's show. Okay, let's go defense here. The top edge prospects from Kiper. Now, full disclosure, he separates outside linebackers and defensive ends, which is just so boomer of Mel Kiper. Just categorize them all as edges. So I guessed a little bit once you get beyond the top 4 or 5, so because again they are in different categories. But Leatu Latu, you got Dallas Turner, Jared Verse. I do think that's a clear top 3. Then there's a bit of a dip. I like Robinson better than Braswell, but he's got Braswell higher. Then you got probably more day 2 guys: Jonah Ellis, JT Tuimoloau, Braylon Trice, who I actually really like, Adiza Isaac, and then Peyton Wilson out of NC State. And look, there's a potential scenario here where the Bears' current pick at this exact moment is number 10 overall, but regardless of the outcome Sunday against the Packers, the highest they can pick is number 8 with their own pick. The lowest they can pick is number 13. So depending on how it plays out, that I feel like is the range of when these edges start to go. Maybe one of them sneaks into top 5 range, but you're going to have some combination of Robinson, Latu, Dallas Turner, like at least 1 or 2 of those dudes are likely going to be available when the Bears pick with their own selection. So depending on what they do in free agency, they may opt to draft one of these dudes in the first round, and I think they're going to be in the range to do so. And I'm a big fan of Verse. I like Dallas Turner and Latu a lot. With Latu, this is a guy who was medically retired a couple of years ago, got second opinions, returned to play, and played unbelievable, but his medical evaluation at the Combine and in these pre-draft meetings is going to be critical for his draft status. If you want more Bears draft content, mock drafts, draft targets, prospect rankings, big boards, hit that subscribe button. It's going to be a hectic 4 months leading up to the 2024 NFL Draft. Hit that sub button, subscribe today if you want more draft videos. Well, whether you want them or not, there's going to be a lot of them here on this channel. Let's go to center now. Just got a top 5 here from Kiper. Graham Barton, who actually hasn't really been on my radar on Duke. I need to go check him out. He's got him number 1. I've watched a lot of Cedric Van Pran and Zach Frazier out of Georgia and West Virginia. I like them both a lot. Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon. I've watched a little bit of him. I like him too. Matt Lee out of Miami. I admittedly have not watched him yet, so I'll have to check him out. Again, Van Pran and Frazier are 2 guys I like. When I go through my mock drafts, I like getting one of those dudes in like the 3rd, 4th round. We'll see where they fall, but I think they both have the athletic profile, the grit that Ryan Poles likes for offensive linemen, and it's so obvious. You got to upgrade from Lucas Patrick, Cody Whitehair. That experiment has not worked this year at center. I think that'll be a priority this offseason. If you want the Bears to upgrade at center, well, type me in the comments. I mean, it's got to be a must. Lucas Patrick's a great teammate. He's a rah-rah guy. I'm open to bringing him back as a backup. He cannot be a starting center in this league next year, at least for this football team. So type me if you're looking to upgrade. All right, running back here. I did go 10 here. Jonathan Brooks, who declared on Thursday out of Texas. Tore his ACL, but is expected to be ready for training camp. We'll see how that impacts his draft status. Kuiper still has him number 1. Trey Benson, Audric Estime out of Notre Dame. I really like him. Travion Henderson, Blake Corum. That could be an interesting one to keep him close to home. Marshawn Lloyd. You got Jawar Jordan, Rasheem Ali, Bucky Irving, who could be a good, fun player on day 3, as is Braylon Allen. And I said it a few weeks ago. I'll say it here, even though Khalil Herbert's been good recently. I think the Bears add a running back. You've got Herbert and Roschon under contract next year. With Deontay Foreman being a late-season scratch here for the Bears, I got to think they add a third runner to that unit. So don't be surprised if the Bears draft a running back once again here in 2024. And then just some other notable prospects that Kuiper has ranked pretty highly that I'm very interested in here. Brock Bowers, the tight end out of Georgia. You guys know all about him. He's explosive as hell. He's a good receiving tight end. He can also block. I think he's a top 10, top 12 pick. Tavion Sanders, probably second, third round guy. I really like him as well out of Texas. Joe Olu-Fashanu, the top tackles in this class. J.C. Latham in there as well. I don't think the Bears are going to go tackle in round 1. I think Braxton Jones has more than held his own on the left side this year. He obviously drafted Darnell Wright last year, so I don't think they'll go that route, but you never know. Troy Fountainu out of Washington. He can play tackle and guard. He plays tackle for the Huskies, but Kuiper actually thinks he'll be a guard, so we'll see where he projects at the next level. Jerzon Newton, the defensive tackle out of Illinois. Javon Dexter's really come on, so I'll be interested to see how the Bears approach defensive tackle this offseason. You got Devondre Sweat in there as well. Cameron Kitchens, former teammate of Tyreek Stevenson. If the Bears decide to cut Eddie Jackson, they might need to replace him at safety. That's why I got Tyler Nubin in there as well. And I mentioned it. I'd love to have Brock Bowers. I mean, if you go the trade down route from the number 1 pick, could you imagine a Marvin Harrison, Brock Bowers draft in round 1? That's possible. It's actually a very real possibility. So that would certainly be a lot of fun if the Bears decided to go that route. Who is your favorite player in this draft? I think you guys know where I sit. My favorite overall player is Marvin Harrison Jr. I just think he's a can't-miss prospect. I think he's going to be special from day dot. Who is your favorite player in this draft? Go ahead and let us know down in the comments section. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, more draft videos to come. We also cover the latest news and rumors, free agency. We're getting ready for Sunday's game against the Packers, so join us for that. We'll be live reacting to that one. YouTube.com/BearsNow. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. All right. My wife just called, so...
A lot of Marvin Harrison Jr. in here.
Oh, they want MHJ. Can't blame them. You put him opposite of DJ Moore. Whoo!
Scary.
Woo!
Scary.
Brendan Rice. That's a random name drop.
Wow. Dallas Turner. Could be the best edge.
I like Dallas Turner. The number 1 edge discussion will be interesting because I think if Latu checks out medically, I feel like he'll be the top guy, but if there's questions there, it could be Turner, it could be Jared Verse. That'll be something to watch.
Options there. And there's John saying Jared Verse is my favorite.
I loved him coming into the season. He balled out that first game against LSU, and then he kind of was just like okay for like half the season, but then he finished really strong. So that evaluation will be interesting for him.
Yeah.
MHJ at 1, then Bowers at 10. How about MHJ at 3?
I was going to say, why not just trade down?
And then get Bowers at 10.
Might as well just trade down if you want MHJ.
That's the dream scenario. All right, you want to do these 2 beer bongs, and then we'll see where we sit with Boots? All right. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Do you guys like the Dak Prescott? I'm sure you guys have noticed it. Here we go before he snaps the ball. Here we go. Yes or no? Freddie says yes. Scott says bong. We're doing the bong, Scott. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. They all like it. Busy doesn't. DC says F the Cowboys. Yes, it's hilarious from Mr. Noodle.
He is. It's not better than Omaha. No way.
I think Omaha is classic.
I mean, I'm biased, but like.
Dak is cringe. He's a good dude though, man. But yeah, there's some cringiness there. Yeah, he's had a tough journey, man. So I give that dude a lot of credit. He's had some family. What's the word I'm looking for? Like family obstacles to overcome. His mom passed away when he was young. His brother a few years ago. So it's, not as cringe as Russ. Oh, no doubt. Russ is the worst. I will never root for that guy ever. No chance. No chance. All right, so it's 2-2 with the tie. So we have 2 races. If we're still tied, it's a beer boot race. So we'll see what happens here. I'm doing a boot no matter what, but a boot race to determine this today would be kind of iconic. I got to be honest. So here we go. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, here's my question. Is Chip going to sell so he doesn't have to do the beer boot? Y for yes and for no. Is he going to sell?
I got too much pride.
He's got too much pride, he says. All right. All right. Oh, they think you're selling. At least one person does. Slight spill there. Hang on. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm like semi-cooked. Dude, those went straight to the dome, bro. I could go for some more fucking what do we eat for lunch?
Oh,
I'm cooked. Yeah. Oh my god. This is why we had to finish those segments, dude.
Exactly, because he said we're not gonna make it through the show.
Well, that's why we had to finish the show. We're done with content. This is just drinking now.
Now it's on Friday.
So here's the situation. If Chip beats me, type C for Chip, H for Harrison, it's a beer boot race for all the marbles, okay? And he's going to have to go fill up those boots if that happens. He's going to have to fill up mine regardless. So C for Chip, H for Harrison. If you want a beer boot race, you actually want to go for Chip this round. So here we go. He should do it regardless. Well,
I'm going to win, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, he says he's going to win, so it doesn't matter. We'll see.
My girlfriend, Allie, just joined.
Oh, Allie. How did I? So, okay. Allie, who I don't think I've met your girlfriend yet.
I don't think so.
Oh, remember that one time she was FaceTiming in, though? I knew you were a part of a stream. Was that a preseason game? I feel like it was. Well, Allie, first of all, hopefully we meet sometime. I know you're in town, so... Yeah, we were joking earlier. So Chip and I, we did not expect all these super chats, and your man might be coming home a little not slosh, but feeling good.
I told her she should come pick me up.
Yeah, you need to go pick him up in 45 minutes or so. So 6:15, 6:20, come pick him up. He'll hit you up after the show, but yeah, it's gonna be tough. Scott, Pecan Lodge, that's the move. That's the move. Sal is telling me I should sell so we can get I'm not going to sell. I'm playing this straight up. He says it doesn't matter. He's going to win. So C for Chip, H for Harrison. I can clinch the series. Otherwise, it goes to a boot off. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
What did I say?
I swear I didn't sell, but that went down the wrong pipe.
What did I say?
All right, go fill us up. Here, hold on. I'm going to message you a flavor here that I want. Jesus. I did not sell. Oh, Jesus. You guys wanted Chip to do the boo it anyway, but I swear I didn't sell. Oh, God. Man, I did not expect to be like semi-drunk here on a Thursday. Sarah says she's a Packers fan. FGB, Sarah. That's the motto here. So it's 3-3-1. We tied one. Oh, gosh. I am running on fumes. Chip's filling up the boots. We'll knock those out, and then we're getting out of here. Thanks to everybody who's tuned in for today. Thanks to everyone who's got the chat going, liked the video. By the way, did anybody watch Jersey Jerry do the hole-in-one challenge? Anybody check that out? I was watching it. Is Chip going to make it back? I don't know, Keith. I hope so. But I honestly don't know. Michael says FGB. He knows. Michael knows. Shout out to Michael Ortman. He's a real one. Harrison is cooking with. Oh, I'm not cooking. I'm cooked. Take some Advil. I got ibuprofen. I'm good to go. He's passed out somewhere. Oh gosh. Lador says, "Watch it after." It was sick, man. 2,700 shots, electric. Yes, it was, man. I enjoyed that. I always respect good content, man. That was good stuff. That was good stuff. I enjoyed it. Get the FGBs going in the chat as we wait for Chip to come back. Oh, man. Coconut water. I don't know if I've ever had coconut water. Busy. Rodgers owned the Bears. Who cares? He's with the damn Jets now. He's with the Jets now. Oh, man. You good? What's happening out here? There's a verbal altercation going on in the bullpen out there. So I went with the wild cherry. I don't know what Chip went with.
I like the pineapple.
He went pineapple, so Harrison looks drunker than I've ever. No, you guys have seen me drunker. Stop.
I was gonna say
I've had some watch party. I'll say this on a midweek stream. This is up there.
Wait, is this real?
Will Howard to Ohio State? No way, dude. I mean, there was rumors of that. Yep.
Wow.
Will Howard to Ohio State. I mean, is he better than Kyle McCord? Yes or no? Do you guys think Will Howard is better than Kyle McCord? He's more experienced. Oh, Chip knows Will Howard. He said he diced his school up in high school. Damn. He's had a nice career. But, yeah, I don't think Ohio State's winning the Big Ten with Will Howard, but you never know, I guess. PFF tweeted this out, by the way. Jaylon Johnson has only allowed 25-plus yards in coverage once this season. Dude's been fucking locked down. Pay that man. Yeah, Pro Bowl. I think he's going to be an All-Pro, too. We'll see if it's first or second team, but he's been cooking. He's been cooking. You're good. We're finishing this out, so.
Who's going to win the race?
I don't know. We're tied.
We've
done 7 beer bong races. We each have 3, and we tied 1. So this is the tiebreaker, the boot race. What's your record on a boot race? Do you even know?
I don't know how many boot. I've done a lot.
I'm like
boots.
a good boot for me. Like if I do 30-ish seconds, that's good for me. Like I'm not a Jeremy Chuggs like 10 seconds guy.
Are
you about to run me?
I know. I might get cooked.
Oh, you might be cooked. Well, that's like good for me.
Okay.
And with how much we've had, I'm probably more in the 45 to a minute range right now.
Okay. I might be able to do
All right, let us know. I'm going to put this up on a poll real quick. I'm going to set this up on a poll real quick. Who wins the boot race? Who's going to win?
Keep in mind, I graduated college.
He's fresh out of college. I'm 30 with a kid at home. Shout out to PJ.
Oh, no.
Oh, they're going with Daddy Harry. Early on here, who's going to win? Allie says, I'm not picking you up if you don't win, Chip.
Oh, God.
That's Chip's girl in the chat. Is she an Eagles fan?
Yeah, she is.
Okay. See some Eagles gear. Is
I'm
this both of y'all?
Yeah, I'm wearing
Okay.
Devontae Smith. She's wearing Nick Foles. We got the 69.
Nick Foles, 69. That's good. Hey, bump it.
That was
Nice.
the day of the Super Bowl, so not good memories.
Oh, so y'all known each other
We
a
knew each
while.
other. We knew each other in high school. Started dating after my freshman year of college.
She says you can walk home drunk. Oh, man. God, they're riding behind me as the host. All right.
35.
Pressure's on. Chip is cooked. Guys, you know me. I'm not like, I can chug, but Rolly usually beats me, so.
Really? Okay, I could be rolling.
Oh, man. He says he can beat Rolly, so. Fresh out of college, Harrison has no chance. Dude, I was thinking about this the other day. Come May, I will have been out of college for 8 years. That's a long time. That's almost a decade, dude. When you turn 30, you start to feel old. That's just facts. Oh. Well, if he wins, he's got a ride. If not,
Then I guess.
then he'll either walk or Uber. So, all right, here we go. I'm worried my stomach's too full, dude. This has got to be tough. Because, like, I've definitely had this much on a watch party and more, but that's over, like, 4 hours. This is...
It's been what, like an hour?
It's been like an hour and a half. Hour 15.
College kid can drink it fast. Harrison can hold it fast.
I could definitely hold it. There's no doubt. But...
Neither of us are like...
Oh, Sealand! He says, Harrison, don't let us down. You got the dad reserves. Man, I'm not going to lie. I feel the pressure. And it's at 69% in the poll now. What am I, like, minus 130? You're like plus 150? Something like that?
I'll take those odds.
All right. I'd probably take the plus 150 for you, too. Honestly, it's better value. All right, you get your votes in the chat. H for Harrison, C for Chip. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Same thing we've been doing. On go. I need to belch one more time. And this is, intentional belch. Sometimes there's unintentional belches. Okay, that feels good. I just let out a lot of a big release there.
The odds just changed.
I think it's minus 150 now. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh. Oh my God. That was close. Now, I had some drip. Did you have drip? Yeah, we both had drip.
You let me know.
We both had drip. Oh, God. That was close, man.
You know, I will say, I was ahead of you.
Dude, I made a late push. I'm not going to lie.
I was ahead.
Was that a tie we got to go get? There's no way I could go again.
No, you beat me.
There's no way I could go
You
again.
beat me.
Everybody
I was winning.
spam Chip in the chat. We got to flash these supers, then get out of here. I may have I'm gonna have to. What's the term? What's the college term? You know, when you pull the trig. I'm gonna have to pull the trig, which I haven't done in probably since college. Oh God. All right, a couple supers came in, then I got to sprint to the bathroom in the next 2 minutes. So let's wrap this up. Chip's a legend. They're all shouting out Chip. Rolly missed a hell of a stream, I'll tell you what. Persistent says, who's the bigger factor of this game, Love or Fields? I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, they're both massive factors. I mean, Fields' mobility, obviously Love's mobile, but Fields' running ability, I think, is definitely a big deal. So I would lean Fields. Sealand, Harrison, don't let us down. You got that dad reserves. I hope I delivered, Sealand. I tried, man. I tried. He said, Harrison rallied at the end. True legend. I tried, brother. You're a legend, too. You're the GOAT, man. You know, Michael Horowitz has been making his push, but you're the OG for a reason. All right, guys. I got to get out of here. Chip and I, we gotta regroup here. So we're out of here. Round of applause to everybody. What a stream. I mean, Chip, I don't think coming to work today even knew he was doing Bears. And then he found out he was doing Bears, and this is what it turned into. So shout out to the real ones. What a hell of a stream. I got to go to the restroom. Bear down. FGB. We'll see you guys soon.